So, if people can't tell this by now, I am a tad short-tempered and my patience for stupidity is rather minimal. So when I read the same news over and over again, the same thing is said but with different words over and over again, my mind kind of defaults to the saying, never attribute to malice that which is adequately explained by stupidity. I have my doubts on this phrase, if only because it would reduce me to relinquishing the last fleeting bit of faith I still have in humanity, because if you factor in the level of malice we see right now, holy sweet zombie Moses, the level of stupidity is on the fucking moon. And so I think I had an epiphany last night. I suspect the media is driving people insane. Shocking, I know, what a revelation. But all joking aside, I've been reading the news for a couple of months on a daily basis now. Suffice to say, it is taking a toll on me mentally, but for kind of different reasons. If only because while I'm sane and sensible enough to spot the propaganda, not that that's difficult, the repetitious bouts with the same phrases does leave me with the aftertaste of a rancid concoction of rage and disappointment. The White House, shockingly, still can't quite understand why their polling numbers are taking a first-class roller coaster to hell. Well, I'll fill in the blanks for you idiots, seeing as you media pundits can't quite seem to understand this. Ahem. Democratic voters are morons who don't know the first thing about politics, and they vote based on their feelings, hence why they voted for Biden and his basement-dwelling promise of, I am not that guy. By the way, given that criteria, you know it's malice because that dude could have continued all of Trump's policies and no Democrat voter would have said jack shit because they don't know any of Trump's policies. Find any rampant anti-Trumper and ask them about policies, and they don't know shit about Trump's policies because the media never spoke about his policies. They spent 4 years hammering the population with a campaign of gaslighting bombardment that left the population scarred with mind-numbing ignorant stupidity. Or maybe they were that stupid before, who the hell knows? However, when you fuck up to the point where even they notice your incompetence and you keep throwing shit at the walls hoping something sticks long enough for you to boast you pulled off a feat of political significance, but whatever you enacted still does fuck all to deal with their issues, don't be surprised if they could smell you're much like the monkey in the White House, full of shit. I have a question about the media, and I'm legitimately curious about this. How long can you stay in that bubble where you peddle nothing but propaganda 24/7, where you live and breathe it? Do these people go to a retreat or something to pump the brakes or cleanse themselves of the complete crap they constantly spew, just so that they don't get indoctrinated by their own bullshit? I'm genuinely curious about that because reading the few lefty articles that I can stomach, right before I headbutt my keyboard so hard the floor looks like it's been decorated with Lego blocks, I can easily see why Democratic voters are so stupid. Their media has no substance at all. It is nothing but propaganda. And what worries me, it is bad propaganda. Really, really bad propaganda. It's so bad, even I can spot it, and I'm a simpleton. Joe Biden's mandate was to restore norms and work across the aisle to heal the country's toxic political culture. In other words, do not be Donald Trump. I keep seeing this phrase, or something akin to this. This was never going to work. The problem is not Trump. It's not even his policies. The problem is the corporate press. Trump showed the world what a competent US president actually looks like, one who isn't part of the political apparatus. He wasn't infected by the corruption like the career politicians who usually get propped up for presidential selection. Considering all that he got done as a one-term president, with what he had to put up with the press, the constrictive nature of all that bureaucracy, at his age with no prior political experience, like the guy or not, that speaks volumes about his quality of character and the iron of his fortitude. Give credit where credit is due. He tried to cleanse the well, so to speak, and what he couldn't cleanse completely, he still managed to show how corrupt it really is. And a few people didn't pay attention to it because the media told them he's Orange Man bad Russia Putin puppet for 4 damn years. Then comes the quintessential nexus of corruption, along with the press, and re-poisons the well. While a few people didn't pay attention to the cleansed well, nevertheless, they felt its after effects. Now people notice the well is saturated with poison again, or at least feel the joyful after effect from before is now absent. And now the media is going, why aren't people thinking we're doing so well? Because the people know now what a cleansed well looks and or feels like, and you've been caught poisoning it. The distractions and sloganeering doesn't work anymore. They've seen the trick. The genie is out of the bottle, and you can't put it back in. You're fucked now. What's so antagonizingly frustrating, but funny, the Democrats and the corporate machine hammer Trump with propaganda 24/7. I've said this before. You can gaslight people when the country is going well. You just look fucking crazy. However, When inflation is soaring, the economy is hemorrhaging money and efficiency, and the energy prices are crippling people, you can't tell the citizenry all is well when the world is on fire, and you help start the fire. Read the news and you will see this is the only strategy these idiots have. I'll say this really slowly so the media pundits can get this through their thick, dim-witted skulls. You can't brand your way out of this. Joe Biden said, "Oh, America is back." What I'm starting to think that means is a Democratic Party who are fucking retards, who scream to the high heavens and harass any and everything with a pulse, and a Republican Party who are fucking useless, who sit on their hands and do nothing. For all the Republicans talk, they have done nothing in the last year to stop jack shit. Trump is the only reason anyone is paying attention to them. Let's be real. And if the mainstream still can't pull their heads out of their puckered assholes, not that it would matter, they all reside in an echo chamber anyway, but that's why Trump has such massive support within the GOP, because he was actually a good president. They know what to expect of him. He's got the incumbent advantage as well, especially compared to that retard mongoloid who's in charge, or not, they have now. It's pretty ironic. Biden said to Trump, "Oh, you're the worst president ever on the debate stage." That has aged beautifully. He's now the worst president, just a quarter into his first and will be his only term, and God Emperor Trump looks like one of the best. The Democrats and the corporate apparatus made Trump possible. Clinton was so corrupt, they figured they need to prop up someone truly heinous and thought, oh well, Trump's grotesque and vulgar nature coupled with his wild inexperience in politics would be enough to mitigate Clinton's corruption. Primarily because the media class have no fucking idea the perception of the average American and how much they are hated by said average American and how much the public detests plastic politicians and political correctness. And Clinton was the absolute epitome of that, the personification of everything the regular citizen truly despises. Trump came in, and despite the deck stacked against him, set a pretty damn high bar for what a president can actually pull off. And Biden, an establishment relic, was never going to come anywhere within 1,000 miles of even Trump's most minuscule accomplishment in the grand scheme of things. Watching the Democrats now is a bit like watching people try and use an outdated playbook to navigate a new world. And what's most amusing is it's a world they created by accident, which is why they're so ill-prepared to deal with it. And it shows. Biden is too old and too stupid to learn anything new, Kamala Harris is grossly incompetent and unlikable, and the young Democrats coming through are even stupider than they are. And here is one issue the Democrats need to solve extremely quickly because it will have catastrophically bad consequences. It is not helped by the fact the older generation can't teach the younger generation the ropes because the landscape has shifted so much post-Trump that they don't even know what to do either. Hence why so many are retiring. It's why all of them seem so utterly clueless right now, because Trump came in and pissed on all of their old rules and then set it on fire in a glorious Cheeto-infused blaze. Now, we're just watching the fallout as Trump is financing himself with an armed political war chest that would make even Clinton drool in envy. Trump's just doing what he was doing before. It's his world, his rules, and he knows what works. Hell, he can emulate Biden and say, I am not that guy, and you miss me yet? And that would suffice for a lot of people. Democrats haven't the faintest idea what to do now, which is why they're just going full scorched earth and setting themselves on fire in the process. You can see it in the demoralized character of the Democrats. They have no central figure to rally around, which as an anti-democracy monarchist I like to point out because it reaffirms my belief. Senator Kennedy was indeed correct. Sometimes all the fools are on one side. And that's all for today. Until next time.